Hello, I'm Phil Irwin with Gold Insurance Solutions of Utah. What I want to do with you today is go over what our quoting process is, because we're going to actually starting tomorrow. We're going to be sending out competitive insurance quotes for all of your listings. So anytime you have a listing, we want you to have on hand a generic but viable competitive insurance quote from us. And so I'm just going to kind of walk you through the process. And this would also be the case if you were sending us an individual request to provide a quote for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of walk you through this. So what we do when we get the actual request, we first analyze the property address. We want to make sure that the address and the property, we understand it. We want to know what features there are, if it's a standard built home, the grade and quality of the home, you know, if there's any special outbuildings, barns, shops, casita, guest houses, those types of things. We want to really have a good understanding of what we're looking at before we start quoting the risk. The next thing we do is we run it through what's called a replacement cost estimation tool. And what that tool does is it tells us, based on the features of the home, it also populates information from the county records or the building permits, basically square footage. We want to make sure that everything is aligned: the quality of the build, the quality of the kitchen, the quality of the bathrooms. If there's any custom features of the home, we want to make sure that everything is built into that. Because before we do anything, we want to know what the value or what the cost to rebuild that home would be in the same like, kind, and quality material. So that's really the goal, is we want to have enough money to rebuild the home with like, kind, and quality material based on the cost of today and the cost of tomorrow. So technically it's a fluid number. So it's important that every year we review this with customers and make sure going forward that they feel comfortable and that we have enough coverage built in for their home. And there's some other safeguards we put into as well. So once we run through the replacement cost estimation tool, we'll end up with a number, a coverage amount that we would recommend at that point. We plug that information into what's called our rating tool. And it's a competitive rating tool. It has all of our carriers built into it. And we would run through and find which company is going to be the most competitive in that situation. Once we have the top 2 or 3 companies, we take a closer look and make sure that we have everything built into it, and we're taking every competitive advantage we can take for the customer to make sure we have a competitive and viable quote. So that's really what we're doing, and then we send it to you, the agent, and so we'll see what this looks like. So you should get emails from us that look like this, and then we can open up the quote. And let's see if I can. You have an idea, in this case, Safeco is the least expensive for this house. And so when we send out our quotes, we're sending them directly to you. We're not going to engage with any buyers or any customers until you give us the green light or you give us a warm handoff to have conversations with them. But once they're interested and want to go forward with us, then we'll go through and go through all the coverages, make sure they understand everything, and make sure they're comfortable. One of the areas, as an example, is liability limits. You know, we use a pretty basic coverage. I think technically we usually quote around $300,000 for liability, but some people may want 100 and some people may want 500 or beyond. But those are conversations we have down the road. So that's generally the process we follow. If you ever have quotes that you need, that you'd like to see, if you're going out house hunting with customers that want to look at multiple properties, just send us a list. We'll get the quotes for you. We're available weekends and evenings, and obviously during business hours. And that's what we're here to do. So please start using us as a resource. We're here to help you. We're here to give you intel. We've got access to loss records as well, loss reports, a clue report on the property, so we can make sure that everything looks right and there's no surprises for the buyer. And again, believe it or not, we get probably half of our transactions come from when we're representing the seller. So if you're representing the seller, you know, feel free to pass along our quote. It's just a courtesy, but you'll be surprised more often than not. It ends up just making things more convenient for the buyer, and they end up using us. So that in a nutshell is our quote process. Hopefully you find that beneficial. We're open to feedback. If there's things we can do that will provide better information for you, or any tweaks we can make, we're always open to feedback. So definitely don't hesitate to let us know. Have a great day, and we look forward to working with you.